Thank you, Chair, Vice President Maroš ŠEFČOVIČ, dear colleagues. Time flies. Believe it or not, almost 7 years have passed since the Brexit referendum, and more than 3 years have gone since the entry into force of the withdrawal agreement. As rapporteur for the implementation of the Brexit agreement, I am glad to say that, fortunately, we are here not only to assess what happened in the last 3 years, where the story to tell is not always pleasant, but also to look into the future of the EU-UK relations in light of the recently announced Windsor Framework, a new joint understanding about the terms for a more flexible but also more effective implementation of the Northern Ireland Protocol. This development is of utmost importance. The UK's continuous breach of its agreed legal commitments under the protocol was by far the most serious issue in the implementation of the withdrawal agreement. The lack of customs checks in the Irish Sea and the insufficient sharing of customs data with the EU obviously endangered the integrity of the EU single market. It's worth recalling that the Northern Ireland Protocol was the agreed solution to prevent a physical border on the island of Ireland so that the Good Friday Agreement is fully safeguarded while protecting the integrity of the EU single market. A dialogue on a flexible but effective implementation of the protocol, as many times suggested by the European Commission, was always the right thing to do, not unilateral actions. Besides new customs data sharing arrangements, the key element of the Windsor Framework is a distinction between a green lane in the Irish Sea with no border controls for goods entering Northern Ireland for final consumption there in Northern Ireland, and a red lane with EU customs and sanitary and phytosanitary procedures for those goods entering Northern Ireland but at risk of entering the EU single market. Together with the so-called Stormont break, allowing for members of the Northern Ireland Assembly to stop in exceptional circumstances future regulatory divergences introduced by the EU, this joint understanding gives us reasons to believe that an important turn of a page can happen in the EU-UK relations. Moreover, we hope to see power sharing returning to Northern Ireland so that we can all properly celebrate the 25 years of the Good Friday Agreement. Therefore, as rapporteur for the implementation of the withdrawal agreement, I propose to the European Parliament that we warmly welcome the announced Windsor Framework. And to that effect, I table a few amendments updating the report to this important development. Furthermore, I would like to warmly congratulate Vice President Maroš ŠEFČOVIČ and all his team for this remarkable political achievement. One last word on citizens' rights, a top priority for this Parliament. We welcome the UK establishment of the EU settlement scheme, under which 7 million European citizens have asked for the recognition of their residence rights. 55% of those got the permanent settled status. But however, we note that 39% of the applicants, about 2.7 million, only got the so-called pre-settled status. So we will monitor the situation to ensure that they get the permanent status as soon as they fulfill the legal requirements. And finally, we still ask the British government to provide a document serving as physical proof of residence rights so people don't have to face practical difficulties in their daily life. So improvements are still needed, for sure, but I believe that hope should be the right tone for today's debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice President. Well, I don't see then in the room Mr. Andreas SCHIEDER, who should be next speaker. So we will go ahead. So now next speaker is Seán KELLY for the Foreign Trade Committee.
Thank you. Into the breach comes Kelly. So, I welcome the political agreement on the Windsor Framework and commend particularly Vice President Šefčovič and his team on achieving this result, which is the product of much effort and patience. The new arrangements address the real-life concerns of citizens and businesses in Northern Ireland, while also ensuring that the EU single market is protected through a number of safeguards. It is a balanced agreement, grounded on an understanding of trust between the EU and the UK. Trust which I hope we can continue to build on as we move forward. I support in particular the efforts made by the Commission to give Northern Irish politicians and stakeholders a voice in the governance of the protocol, especially through the Stormont break. This is an important and welcome development. Now the focus turns to making this agreement a reality. In the Parliament here, I think we will take the necessary steps to implement the new arrangements as swiftly and as effectively as possible. But we will also need political will and responsible leadership, especially from the DUP, in order to make the agreement effective. I hope that can be achieved. As we approach the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, I sincerely hope to see the Windsor Framework implemented and return to power sharing in Northern Ireland. Stability and certainty will allow citizens and businesses to avail of the economic opportunities that the new agreement provides for Northern Ireland, and ensure that the next 25 years will be as much about prosperity as the last 25 years was about peace. It is time that we put these long and drawn-out discussions on the protocol behind us. I hope now that we can move forward with a constructive and forward-looking EU-UK relationship. And again, thanks to all involved, and especially, once again, Commissioner Šefčovič, who was outstanding all through this process. Good morning,
Thank you very much. Now I would like exactly for the Commission floor to Vice President Šefčovič. So floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, honourable members. First and foremost, thank you for your invitation to this joint debate on the implementation of the withdrawal agreement and the recent developments around the protocol on Ireland and Northern Ireland. I very much welcome the opportunity to discuss the important progress made in the relationship between EU and the UK. I believe that this is very well captured in the report, and in particular the amendments reflecting the recent important progress in our relationship that Mr. Pedro SILVA PEREIRA put forward today. And I want to thank him not only for this timely report, but also for our excellent cooperation over the years. And my gratitude and thanks goes to all honourable members in a UK coordination group and in many bilateral meetings we have, I would say, with almost everyone in the room when we've been discussing this very important relationship with the United Kingdom. Honourable members, the United Kingdom, as we discussed in our previous meetings, is an important partner and a close political ally for the EU, with our excellent cooperation in support of our Ukrainian friends being testimony to that. In our discussions, protecting the rights of citizens after Brexit was of the utmost importance, and I was reminded of that by our discussions we had, be it in a UKCG or in our bilateral meetings. And I really would like to reassure the all honourable members that it remains a priority for us to ensure that beneficiaries of the withdrawal agreement continue to enjoy the same rights and benefits. But we also knew it was vital not only to fix the problems of today, but to set our bilateral relationship down the right path to overcome the issues of tomorrow. And for that, we needed to find joint solutions to the challenges that have emerged in the implementation of the protocol over the past 2 years. In recent months, we have had intensive talks with our UK counterparts in order to find these solutions. Solutions for real-life concerns around the operation of the protocol affecting people and businesses on the ground. President von der Leyen and Prime Minister Sunak have been in regular touch throughout the process. I have also remained in regular and close contact with my counterpart, UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly, but also the State Secretary responsible for Northern Ireland, Chris Heaton-Harris. And the Commission and UK government team spared no efforts to find joint solutions, and I can tell you that they've been working very, very hard. I'm delighted to say that this hard work, determination and political will has delivered results. As you know, on the 27th of February, a new way forward, the Windsor Framework, was announced by President von der Leyen and Prime Minister Sunak. A way forward that consists of joint solutions that will address in a definitive manner the concerns and challenges we have experienced over the last 2 years. A way forward that protects the legitimate interests of both the EU and the UK. A way forward that addresses all areas concerned: food, medicines, customs, VAT and excise, state aid, tariff rate quotas, governance, and stakeholders' engagement. These solutions respond to the concrete needs of people and businesses in Northern Ireland. But they also have been carefully crafted so as to ensure that the EU single market is protected. In particular, the role of the European Court of Justice has not changed. It remains the sole and final arbiter of the EU law. But there is now a strong political commitment to solve future challenges together before they turn into disputes. Vitally, the time of unilateral action is behind us. We welcome the public commitment from the UK government that the Northern Ireland Protocol bill is stopped from proceeding in the UK Parliament and will thus fall. The Windsor Framework allows us to turn the page and work with mutual trust on fully implementing our agreements, because the solutions we have found together are co-owned and are therefore set to be fully implemented by both sides. Honourable members, the Windsor Framework is an important achievement for both the UK and the EU. Its implementation is a key. On our side, we know that we can count on the support of this House to deliver on important legislative proposals that are a key part of the joint solutions. Your support, as always, will be crucial. And I know that thanks to our collective work, we can look to the future with confidence. As Mr. Seán Kelly underlined, next month we'll see the celebration of the 21st anniversary of the Good Friday Belfast Agreement. Our work on the Windsor Framework will allow us to continue to protect the hard-earned peace gains emanating from that momentous accord. The framework is there to benefit people in Northern Ireland and support all communities celebrating peace on the island of Ireland. And if the last 25 years been about the peace, the next 25 years should be about the peace and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice President.